Hi, I'm Julie Swift with Food Service Women's Alliance, and we are here talking to Rachael Goodrich today with the Alternative Foodie to honor Rachael and learn more about the Alternative Foodie during Women's History Month. So, may I introduce you to Rachael Goodrich?
Hello, everybody. I am the founder of the Alternative Foodie. We are a food and beverage consulting agency. We started in September of 2020 because the pandemic is a great time to start a business. We work primarily with small emerging food and beverage companies that are looking to get started in food service and alternative channels.
Wow, you know what? I think there's such a need for the alternative foodie in this industry. So I'm happy for our FWA members, our followers, and just the industry at large to hear about your story. I got to ask you first, what inspired you to launch your own business?
My first inspiration was actually my parents. They were late in life entrepreneurs who founded Fido Park Avenue, an upscale dog boutique that grew to 3 locations at their height in the Richmond area. I was able to watch them build something from the ground up, take risks, and develop a deep connection to their customer base. As I continued seeing early stage food and beverage brands struggle to break into food service, that whole, entrepreneurial foundation kind of clicked into place for me. And the alternative foodie came from combining what I learned growing up with my professional experience and a clear gap in the market that I saw.
Well, very cool. And right when you were talking about that, your little fuzzy friend, your little furry friend appeared on the screen. I love that. Just like from here up, we could see. So I love that. That's absolutely fantastic. So, um, if you had to say, like, what's been the most rewarding part of this, of having your own company?
Well, this is Bogart. He is my personal assistant, and he is one of the most rewarding parts of working from home. But back to your real question, from a professional perspective, the most rewarding part is watching brands gain confidence, seeing founders move from having no idea about food service, feeling overwhelmed, walking into meetings, being prepared, credible, feeling in control is incredibly powerful. I love building the vision that's both strategic and very practical. We're not just talking about big ideas, we're helping brands close deals, build real relationships, and create sustainable growth. On a personal level, it's probably more meaningful. I get to show both of my children and even my team what resilience and adaptability really look like. When one door closes, there's always another customer, another client, or another opportunity that's waiting. Sometimes we walk right through the door. Sometimes we have to pry it open or even climb through a window. But either way, the opportunity's there and it's ours for the taking.
Okay, wow. I'm feeling really inspired by what you said. And that really, I think, plays into sort of like that founder mentality when you stood this up, and the idea that, hey, sometimes we may be crawling in a window, sometimes we may be going through the door, sometimes the door's already open for us or whatever. In those situations where you're having to double down and really go the extra mile to get that piece of business or to gain that founder's confidence, what kinds of tools do you use to break through that?
I think you have to look into your toolbox and see what's available and specifically what's going to work in the situation that you're in. And it could be different tools for different situations. So it could be relying on um, your network. It could be AI, right? We're using a lot of AI in the space to help us move quicker, to craft emails smarter, And then we also use a CRM system, which helps, again, kind of helping us work, um, smarter, not harder. Um, but I think a lot of what I personally rely on is the years of experience that I have in the industry. I have a nice background that spans different products, both food and beverage, with large companies all the way to small companies. And when I first started on my journey, I had no idea, right? I can still hear my managers talking in formal performance review, year-end reviews. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Well, as a 25-year-old, you have no idea. 5 years seems like a lifetime, right? Um, Now 5 years seems like it's going to be happen tomorrow. Um, so I think it's really leaning on the different tools that you have, the things that you've developed. Um, and even if you're starting off and you're young in your career, you still have a lot of access to some tools, whether that be, again, AI, it could be LinkedIn, and it could be networks just like FWA.
Ah, yeah, I love that. I also love that I read in the bio and information that you sent over to me that one of the things I read there was I didn't expect to become quite so fluent in cash flow, payroll, IT systems, and CRM platforms. And then you said, let's just say business school finally proved its value. So I love that. I love that mindset that you do sort of have to be a jack of all trades. So, I guess in that vein, what would you say is the biggest challenge you've faced? And maybe I love the way you answered the question earlier about like professionally, it's great seeing, founders find their confidence in what they've built. And personally, I want to be that shining example to my kids and let them see me overcome obstacles and see the resilience that I'm able to apply. And that if you really work hard, you can be successful. But what would you say is maybe one or more of the biggest challenges you faced?
I'd have to say it was learning to fully trust my own expertise. I think like many women, especially in male-dominated industries, we're often conditioned to over-validate before we act. I also realize that self-doubt shows up for everyone at some point, and it's not a signal that you're unqualified. Once you're able to name it, and once I was able to name it, I took a very practical approach. I made a list of all the reasons I had earned my seat at the table. Experience, results, perspective, and a proven track record of getting things done. Stepping kind of fully into my authority, bringing my authentic self to work every day, and owning the value that I bring changed everything. Once I did that, the business accelerated and my confidence grew right alongside with it. And then, yes, embracing my inner girl boss helped. I actually have a playlist I'm happy to share with everybody that I listen to on repeat as many times as necessary. That's kind of like girl anthem songs, but it helps.
I am gonna say yes to the playlist. So I would definitely like you to send that to me, and we can make sure that anyone that watches that video would like to have it gets to have it. So thank you for that so much. There's so much in there that you said. I want to unpack just a few of those things. This idea about recognizing and believing in yourself and trusting your own expertise. And then also recognizing and drawing the correlation between that expertise and that you've earned your seat at the table. Did this come naturally for you? Did this feel natural to you, or did you have to sort of send yourself through this process of reaffirming to yourself that that was the case?
I don't know anybody who this comes naturally to. I think they've even named it, right? Um, and I think it's one of the reasons that it's so imperative that you find support and help along the way. I've personally never had a lot of success with like formalized mentoring programs, but some of the more meaningful guidance has come from honest people, conversations with my peers and bosses, direct managers that I've had that are generous with their experience and are able to show up as their authentic selves. And one of the moments that really stuck with me came from a former colleague recently. We often disagreed at work, sometimes vehemently so. And many people assumed we didn't work well together at all. After I left the company, he told me that he always respected working with me because I showed up fully and I brought a point of view worth listening to, even when we didn't agree. He said that the only people he struggled to respect were those who did not give their full effort, the ones who didn't, that just seemed disengaged. And that has stuck with me. So my advice is always bring 100%. Have a point of view. Don't ever apologize for it. It's needed. So whatever you have to do, whether my playlist does it for you, or you have to go to the gym and work out, or recharge with your family, but whatever does it for you, so that you can overcome that fear, so that you can show up. I think it's something that we all have to figure out for ourselves.
Yeah. Wow. The passion in your words is just about leaves me speechless. Truly, it does. I feel like if we could help women understand that the further you dive into your own authenticity, the more confident, the more competent, like all of those things sort of tend to follow that. And we sometimes think we have to model someone else who's been successful or be someone else in order to be successful. So, major kudos, major respect for you, Rachael, for sort of setting that bar for yourself, really believing in yourself. We have just a couple minutes left, but I'd love for you to share with the audience anything you feel like would be something that someone who's got that spark in the back of their mind and thinks, I think I can do this. Like, what encouragement would you give someone who's thinking about standing up their own business?
So this would go for everything, not just standing up your own business. But I've done it now a couple times, not intentionally. The first was getting my MBA. Second was running a marathon. And this is the third. There's never going to be a perfect time. Starting my own business was an idea and a dream I had. It's always something in the back of my mind. And I used to tell myself I would do it later when my kids were grown, when I was kind of on the downward slide towards retirement, when it felt safer. But life doesn't work like that. It pushes you into moments that are uncomfortable and are more than a little scary when you're not ready. Life has proven to me repeatedly that you don't have to have things figured out to begin. You have to just act. If you feel called to do something, trust that instinct and take the first step. Um, Post it on Facebook or Instagram, or just call it out, right? Hold yourself accountable in some way, or make somebody else hold you accountable. But speaking from experience, if you're equal parts excited, terrified, and you're losing some sleep, but in a good way, you're probably headed in the right direction. Um, and I would say build the right support around you, stay curious, definitely don't wait for anyone's permission, and go for it. This industry needs more women who are willing to lead on their own terms.
Mm. That sounds like it could be an anthem all by itself. Well, listen, thank you so much for being such an integral part of Women's History Month with FWA. We're
Thank you.
grateful for you.